Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple123 Trader. This is the outlook for the week of January 16th to the 21st. Hope everybody's doing well and are safe. Okay, taking a look at what's setting up for this week and starting off with the US dollar. I can see that the US dollar has had quite a run. But has now taken a little turn to the downside and could continue down, breaking this trend line here back down into this area. So for the remainder of the week, I would foresee lower prices for the US dollar. And you can see that here where we have come through a pretty choppy area and have dropped through and looking for another descent back down one more time. That's a total possibility at this time. So uh, lower prices for the US dollar. So that would invigorate, for example, the Australian dollar. So on the weekly, we would be looking for, you look at the Australian dollar sitting here at very strong support, and we could see a further move to the upside. So dropping to the daily, let's take a look at that a little closer. So it's had quite a pullback. So this week, and it too is at an interesting point here. We have a small pullback for first, but then further climb into the week. We can take a look at the euro and see if that's similar. So the euro is going to do opposite of the US dollar. So if we see a decline in the US dollar, then we would see a further push in the euro. However, the euro is sitting also at a very critical point. So um, it too could pull back first and then go. On worst case scenario, we're not going to break this high and we're just going to be coming back down again. So overall, it's looking more like this kind of thing is going to play out where we're going to get a move to the downside, but this could take a while to play out, of course. So just for the week, we could see one more move to the upside, but I think that might be short-lived, as you can see with the U.S. dollar. So looking at the U.S. dollar again, just to double check, U.S. dollar come through this mess, could move first to the upside, then down to finish that move. So that would move the euro in the totally opposite direction. So euro would go first to the upside and then back down. Okay, so similar type of the opposite type of reaction. Okay, so that's that one. So Japanese yen, for example, let's go to the weekly, would follow what the US dollar is doing more than likely. We could see right now it's kind of sitting in an interesting spot there. So let's take a look at it on a daily. Um, we could see further moves down for the Japanese yen to following this big move up. We could see a move down. We've got a nice pin bar sitting right there, and we could see a further move down for Japanese yen. So that would be along with the U.S. dollar weakness. Okay, what else do we have in here? The Canadian dollar. Let's take a look at the Canadian dollar. I haven't done that for a while. Weekly, Canadian dollar hit some support area here and has bounced. So if the US dollar goes to the downside, we could expect Canadian dollar to move down as well. But let's just see. Energy has been quite strong, and this is what propels Canadian dollar more than anything else. So we could get a pullback first this week. That's totally possible here, and then a continued move to the upside, or it's just going to continue coming down. But right now, it's looking more like we'll get that bounce to the upside overall. Okay, so all right, let's take a look at gold. Gold on the weekly, still sitting on the weekly inside of a triangle. and kind of right in the middle of it. So which way is it going to break? Unless there's some dramatic news of some kind, it's more than likely going to stay in this area. On the daily, we could get that one more push, but it's just going to be trying to fight through resistance right here. So at this point here, looking pretty much like we're going to get that move to the upside short term for gold. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is here. Okay, Bitcoin weekly. Okay, we've had quite the move down. As I said last week, I was expecting Bitcoin to come down into the high 30s, and it did. It came down to about 39. I think it's around 39 some odd. 39,470 was the low. So I would expect now a move back to the upside for Bitcoin, at least in the short. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. We looks like we still have one more move to go down. So it looks like we're coming down to this support area next. So look for Bitcoin down into the 38,000 area, and then we could see a turnaround to the upside. Okay. All right. Let me take a look at the DAX. I haven't looked at that one for a while either. Weekly DAX sitting in a channel at the top of the channel. I'll draw that line a little tighter. And so that's looking like we're going to have a further drop. But let's see if we go closer on the daily. So we're inside this channel, and we're near the top of that channel. We could have a push up. So we kind of have a channel something like this. So we could have a push that takes us a little bit over it, and then we're coming back down, something like that. So DAX is in quite a flux. So up, down, up, down, up, down. And so up right now. So we would expect down next. Otherwise, we're heading straight out of here. Okay. Crude oil. Crude oil has been in quite a run, but we're sitting right at resistance. I would expect crude oil to not hesitate too much at this point. It's looking pretty strong. We're in the dead of winter right now, and I could see this just slicing through and continuing. Because we're at resistance, of course, anything can happen. We could gyrate around in here before we go, but this could also just continue going straight up. So for this week, I would look at continued strength, albeit it might be a struggle for crude oil. Okay, let's take a quick look at the Russell 2000. And on the weekly. So Russell sitting at a precipice. Wow. Okay, so if this were the end of the move, then we could see a huge decline back down into this area. That's a total possibility looking at this chart. However, if midway, something like that, perhaps, and then we're going to bounce again. But right now we're sitting at a very interesting spot here where we could fall off the cliff. That's on the weekly. So on the daily, it's definitely sitting in a tough area, and we could breach it. But if we do breach it, it looks like we're going to, if we do come into this area, it looks like we will bounce back up again, more than likely. So I'm not seeing a total collapse as yet. Okay. Let's take a look at the Dow. So Dow on the weekly. So the Dow also sitting at a very, it hit a high point, broke to new highs. We got a pin bar up there, and we could see further moves back down. So on the daily, it too, again, we could see further decline here. Okay, any moves to the upside, it looks like opportunities to sell into this move back down. Just basically a retrace of this move, but we could come back down into this area, no problem. Okay, so a little bit of weakness there in the Dow. Let's take a look at the US 500. And similar story, we're right at the top. And on the daily, again, looking at that move, we could see further declines going into this week. So any moves to the upside, opportunities to sell, but watch carefully because should we break this high and going back up, then we are heading to the upside. Okay, but if should we not, if this fails and we turn back, then we're heading back down again. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up. I'll take one more look at the U.S. technology group. I did it, yeah, on the weekly, and it too is similar. It's sitting right at a crucial point. Now we could form a large head and shoulders here. We could do something like this and go back up and then come back down, forming a head and shoulders, and that would be on our way down. This is over time, of course, on the daily. Um, Also, a lot of weakness there. So any movements to the upside would be opportunities to sell one more time into that coming down. All right, so that's a look at what's setting up for this week. Profitable trading to everyone. Be safe. Done now. Thank you.